I like eventually to have them all on here. Someday. But it's not going to happen right away. I still haven't added the face cards yet either. I have drawings, plans or layouts for the jacks. I think I started making drawings for the queen, a plan, but haven't gotten that far yet. As far as trying to, and I don't think they're all done. So I gotta keep working on that. And I wanted a better back. I don't really like that. Potentially I could have several of these. I've got to figure out what I want them to be. Future problems. So I don't think I'm going to work on card games just yet. I might start working on cryptograms. It's something I kind of know how to do, so I'm less likely to get stuck on it a lot. It's one that I actually kind of enjoy working on, like solving the puzzles. So once I've got it, it's a game I would enjoy playing. The biggest difficulty with cryptograms is it like the word puzzles. Generally, to be able to solve it, you have to give it the solution. Which is an issue with like crossword puzzle. In order to get it to tell you you've got the solution, I have to enter the solution. Which means when I'm going to play it, I can remember a lot of the words. Not all of them, but I remember a lot of them. The hard one, I'm probably less likely to remember. When I, let's see the other one. Word puzzle. I don't think this has solutions entered. So it never knows when you're done. I think I entered this by just giving it the puzzle without a solution. So it has no way to know whether or not you've got the right answer. You just have to look at it and go, does this make sense? Do these answers sort of match? They make up real words, even if one of you don't know what it is. And does this make some sort of sentence that makes sense? Then you go, oh, I think I've got an answer. And that's the way most of the puzzles here work. So Minefield is pretty clear. There's no set answer. You win or you don't. Same with the X-ray. The maze is just a matter of did you find the exit. Alien Invasion is really not functional really as a game at all. Mouse Path was a provided puzzle, but there's no one set solution you have to be able to do it. Any solution that meets the criteria will work. Word puzzle is just a guess. Kakura and Sudoku can literally check your answer. So whatever answer you put in, it will just check it and see if it's valid. If it's valid, good, that works. And so if there's more than one solution, fair enough. Strategic Defense, again, really not workable game. The card games, as part of the rules, they know how to check if you've won the game or not. There's no set answer you have to have. Crossword puzzle, if I didn't provide the answer, you would just have to fill in answers until it looked good, like you would in a regular puzzle, without looking up the answer. You'd never know if you've got it right or not. And so with cryptograms, I'm in the same issue. Like if I generate a cryptogram and don't give it the solution, then you just have to start putting in letters until you come up with something that looks like a reasonable answer. The problem comes in where if, aside from being able to tell you whether or not you've won, if I give it the cryptogram as the puzzle, it's already encrypted, is making sure that it doesn't encrypt it again. Because in a regular cryptogram, no letter should ever be substituted for itself. So if you find in the cryptogram the letter N, that could be any letter in the alphabet except for N. And so if I enter a cryptogram that's already encrypted, there's a risk that it could start substituting letters back for what the solution is, which would be confusing for somebody trying to solve it. They'd be like, wait, N should never be N. I think I have kind of a way around that may prevent that from happening, to make it not re-encrypt an encrypted puzzle. I'm thinking about it. So I think I may have a way of not doing that and still provide the option for entering the text. The issue is, and for me, because I'm the one who plays these, I'm not selling this isn't going anywhere else. In fact, for the most part, except for a couple examples where I'm showing how the puzzle gets loaded, you don't even see the puzzle files. So if I'm entering the puzzles myself and I enter the solutions so that it can encrypt it and allow me to solve it and then tell me when I've got the correct answer, I'm not going to remember all of them, but I'm probably going to remember a good chunk of a lot of them. I'd have to put in thousands and thousands of them to not know. So that's the difficulty there. I'd almost be better off making it try to pull random quotes from the internet or something like that. Have some sort of browser search that would just go out and say, query the internet and just say, give me some famous quotes, and then encrypt them. Except that, you know, all things being equal, it'd probably keep giving me the same top 10 quotes over again. I don't know. I don't have a really good answer for that. But it's worth doing. I think I'll do it. It may not be one to play. I think the ones that I'm going to enjoy doing right now are the card games, because I get a new card game every time I play it. And now Mousepath gives me a new puzzle. Can give me a new puzzle every time I play it. And I have an option to every time I find a good puzzle that has a limited number of solutions and is not overly simple, I can save it and add it to the file and keep growing it based on randomly generated stuff. So I'm happy with that. Meanwhile, I have some ideas for other puzzles to do, except that for the most part, they're like some of these other ones where you have to have a pre-provided puzzle, like Kuro and Sudoku puzzles. Those aren't randomly generated. You have to provide it something. Crosswords are not randomly generated. You have to provide it something. The card game, right now, the only ones that don't do that: Minefield, X-Ray, The Mazes, Mousepath, card games. Those are the ones that don't have to have a puzzle file. Some of the other ones that I really like to play are going to require a puzzle file, or I'm going to have to come up with some really creative algorithms for generating puzzles. And for some of them, I don't even have the slightest idea how to start. I would like to do that, but probably not my next step. So I'm at the point now where the easy games that I could do, the ones that I believe I could do, and that's given the limitations of what I'm able to do with DirectX right now, are not as interesting or fun to do. So my options are: I keep doing this, which I'm probably going to do for at least a couple more games, or I go back and start trying to make bitmaps work again, which I couldn't get to do, which was extraordinarily aggravating to work on it and find that the documentation failed again and again. Or I abandon that as well and jump straight back into trying to get the 3D to work, which is going to require the bitmaps, but I actually have like a full book on how to do it, how to do the 3D DirectX. I could do that, but I'm just doing line drawings, because even the Wolfenstein clone is going to use like bitmaps. It'll manipulate those bitmaps, but they're bitmaps, and I can't get bitmaps to load. I had actually thought about trying to do it with something like this, because this is drawing, you know, it's hallways and corridors, and with a little bit of work, I could probably make it, because there's some limitations to the way this draws. It can't do rooms that are wider than one square. It's literally the same maze generation as this. So it's one block, another block, another block. They're always one block wide. If we take out a couple of blocks here and made one big room, The three-dimensional drawing algorithm that it's using can't do that. It will not, it does not know how to do that. The walls will disappear and not be drawn correctly. So, and I've considered, if I was to take something like this and try to make it draw something more like a dungeon or Wolfenstein room or something like that, so that it could simulate that, just drawing lines and simulate the 3D better. It would take a lot of work to make it look right, and it probably wouldn't ever look right, especially because we're using line drawings and not bitmaps. But it's a possibility. If I can't get the 3D to go, I could go that direction. But at this point, if I wanted to add more stuff to the 3D maze, I would be inclined to, and it would probably be one of the first things I did, I might be inclined to try to replicate this using the DirectX 3D. The problem is, and I've got an example here someplace, where are my notes? Okay, so I want to open 7, it looks like. That's 17. That's not what I wanted. I think this is the one. This is a default piece of code that you get with Visual Studio. I don't think I've made any changes to this. And it's an example. Okay, I must have made a change. It did not work. I broke something. I could try 14. But basically it draws a big cube, but it doesn't actually use bitmaps. It uses some other algorithm for painting the walls. If I could show it, you'd see how annoying this is. Let's try 14. This might work. There it is. Okay. So this is the sample piece of code that you get with Visual Studio if you tell it you want to see a DirectX 3D. And the one that came with my book on using Direct 3D is similar to this. It gives a cube with these colors that merge into one another. The issue is, this isn't using a bitmap. This is using some algorithm to paint each surface with a changing color palette. Which means that right now, if I can't get bitmaps to work, and I tried to make a 3D maze using Direct 3D, the walls are going to look like this. And this is going to be really annoying and drive me crazy looking at that. I wouldn't want to play that. I'd rather look at the blank gray walls. So, this is what I have to deal with. I'm trying to figure out how to use this. So I have messed around with this piece of code, and it may be the one that was broken by clipping out pieces of it. So like faces of the cube would go away, and I would have one face that would, as it turned away, would disappear, and then when it turned back around, you could see the face go by, the face of the cube. But wasn't anything spectacular. So I really do want to get the 3D going. It's just that without having it all look like that, I've got to get I've got to get the bitmaps going. And I think the reason that they do that, the example here and the example in the text, is because it's a simple thing to do without using bitmaps. And because they don't use bitmaps, I can't see an example of how they're loading bitmaps. So it's driving me crazy. Although there's a good chance that the book that I'm using has examples of bitmaps later on. I just never got that far because I was trying to get others. I was trying to get it to do something that I wanted to do, and it wouldn't do anything I wanted to do because I didn't understand enough of it. I have enough of an understanding now of Windows and DirectX, at least the 2D libraries, that I might be able to get through the steps being used in this text. Maybe, I hope, maybe understand what he's talking about enough to get through it. And then between that and looking a lot of stuff up on Microsoft's documentation, which also sucks, I might be able to get through some rudimentary 3D stuff. Just like I had to do with the two-dimensional, if I can get even the worst bitmap to load and start allowing me to generate things in 3D, I'll start doing everything in 3D. And the maze is like going to be the easiest. It seems like the easiest, most obvious thing to start with, but because I have to build the algorithm to draw it using lines, and the Direct3D should handle it for me, I should be able to make more complicated mazes that have, different sizes of rooms. The algorithm I got right now, I could add loops and things like that already. They're not in there, but I could do it. Could add, let it go up and down stairs, things like that. So there's a lot of things that potentially could happen if I get the 3D to work. It's a pain. But now that I've shortened my time up to almost 3 hours now, I am shortening my time every evening. I'll have a little more time to go read, and maybe I can figure out how to do a few more steps. What I really hate is if I have to make the maze with that bright orange box, use that kind of colors, I may wind up giving up on it before I can get very far. So I need to work on it. I have to figure out how to change those surfaces. Also, if I start doing 3D, I'm going to have to start a new project. I already started one that was Experiment 20, and I haven't done anything with it yet. I'll have to go check it out and see if that will work. I've been working on Experiment 19 for a long time. It's all two-dimensional. So if I start using DirectX 3D, I will have to start a new experiment. 20 I think is set up the same as this, so it'll only be for. I don't think it has all the libraries it would need for 3D. I don't think, but I could be wrong. All right, so I'm going to stop here. Tomorrow is Thursday, so I should be back again tomorrow, and I'm probably going to be working on cryptograms unless I make some major breakthrough on reading about 3D drawings sometime this evening or tomorrow. So, but that's probably not going to happen. So, thanks for watching. I'll be back again tomorrow.